Kiefer and I are about to build 2 race bikes for competition in the Texas Mini Grand Prix.
We'll be building these bikes for competition in the Formula 7 class, which has limitations on engine displacement as well as chassis. We chose these 2 very common platforms because, one, of their reliability, and there are plenty of parts available on the shelf.
And with those available hop-up parts and a little bit of ingenuity, hopefully we'll end up with the fastest scooters in Texas. All right, welcome to the final assembly of my Radly. As you can tell, it's been broken down to all of its components, and I'm going to start here with the frame. I've painted it pink and blue for an extra rad paint job, and you're going to get to see all the components that will make this a competitive track machine. So without further ado, let's start with the front suspension. So the Adly Bullseye runs a 27mm front fork from the factory, which is a little bit thin. It uses the same brake caliper spacing as the Buddy 50, which the Buddy 50 also uses a 27mm fork. So I've upgraded the fork tubes to these beefy boys from NCY. The stanchion is machined down to 27mm at the top, but it's much thicker. And because this fork set was made for the Buddy 50, the caliper spacing will be the same. It's nice that machined lip makes it so that I don't have any risk of them being forced up through this clamp. So the Adly comes stock with this 180mm front brake rotor. What I found is the brake pad wasn't even engaging all the way to the outside of the lip. And with some careful measuring, found that the 190mm front brake rotor from the Buddy 125 is a perfect fit and works perfectly with the stock caliper. So this caliper is pretty interesting. This is the 2-pot caliper, which is similar to what's on the Buddy 125 and a lot of GY6 scooters, but the bracket adapts it for the Buddy 50 style front brake mount on the fork. So it's kind of a weird amalgamation of Buddy 50, Buddy 125 parts. So let me get this stabbed in. Beginning to look like a scooter again. This handlebar clamp, along with the 12-inch wheels, was one of the first things that attracted me to this bike. I gave her a nice little paint job just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Throw my new bars up on there. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Now the seat bucket is not only going to be supporting my weight and most importantly holding the seat, but I'm also running all of my electrical up into this seat bucket through this little window I've cut. So it'll hold my regulator rectifier, my starter relay, my little start switch, and I've installed the oil injection tank here. The stock one was big and was prone to spilling, so this is much safer here inside the box, a much smaller amount of oil to be contained. Kiefer and I both prefer oil injection to pre-mix.
Let's say you have a genuine buddy of the 125cc variety, or 150cc if you can handle it. Mamma mia! That's all I gotta say. Have a great day. Get out of here. Oh, you're still here? I got so many parts! Get them out of here! So many parts! Look at all these dang parts! But on a serious note, I've got a lot of parts. You've gotta help me. So come take a look-see at scooter911.com. Scooter911.com, you speedy little animals. Mamma mia!
All right, with the seat on, I can finally test fit my handlebars. Gonna kind of be up like this. Man, it's starting to feel pretty good. I like this tank, and even kind of get a knee in on the tank as I'm off to one side. So let's throw the master on there. This is a brand new master cylinder too. The master cylinder that was on this bike was totally destroyed, probably during the theft. So this is just the blue line master cylinder we stock here at the shop, and it should be plenty good for the racetrack. Maybe down just a little. All right, now I can match that angle with the other switch gears. Believe it or not, because the Adly is a Taiwanese bike, it uses very, very similar switch gears to the genuine products. This rear brake lever that was missing in action, that'll get a Buddy 50 rear brake lever. Oh yeah. Oh Hans, do you want to run the blowgun or do you want to run the grip? Nice. This one's going on pretty snug.
You gonna try and rip it like I did?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Just give yourself a hernia.
Yeah, go for it. I'm sure that was great in the microphone.
Is that on?
Yep.
Cool.
She down. Oh, the grips make it feel like a real thing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All right, now I can run my front brake line. This is a braided front brake line. The rubber lines are great for the stock bikes, but when you use a lot of brake pressure, the rubber flexes a little bit and you lose some of your braking pressure. So braided line is a great upgrade. All right, moving right along, time to install the carburetor. This is the original carburetor from the bike. It's a 19mm Mikuni, which typically is a really great carb. I do have the main jet bumped up to an 85. The stock was a 75. 85 is still probably a little lean, but I always like to test on the lean side. And I did build a provision into the harness to allow the auto enrichener to operate as it should. Later on in the season, we might find that these 19mm carburetors are a little too restrictive, in which case we'll probably bump them up to 21s. Or actually, I think this is a 17, not a 19. So yeah, pretty small carburetor. All right, so this will just go right in here. Now the air intake, I definitely don't think that's going to be working. The stock air box is the Zuma style. It sits down here. It's a little right angle snorkel. I wanted to run something a little more open, but I guess I'm gonna have to do a few more modifications, unfortunately, to my painted frame here. All right, these are the foot pegs I'm gonna be running. This is just a cheap eBay set. I think it's for a CBR 250. They're adjustable. This little drop can be clocked in a couple different positions, and then the peg can be leveled. I did have to take some time and machine these down on the mill just to make sure that they would actually slot into the frame slots in my frame. And then I machined these little spacers also to go inside, and that's just gonna prevent the bolt from crushing these two legs together as I bolt them into the frame.